The humid night air of Springfield clung to the neon signs of the local dive bar, creating a hazy glow that seemed to mimic the foggy state of Dan Connor's mind. He stood near the edge of the stage, the heavy rumble of the last rock anthem still vibrating in his chest. As the spotlights dimmed and the lead singer wiped sweat from her forehead, Dan stepped forward, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. "Hey, great show," Dan said, his voice gravelly from the long ride and the nervous lump in his throat. Louise turned, her eyes widening in genuine shock. "Dan, what on earth are you doing here? I have never once seen you perform in all the years I have known you." "You were only 212 miles away," Dan admitted, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. "So I thought I would swing by. These are for you." He held out a plastic container of nachos, though they looked somewhat worse for wear under the flickering bar lights. Louise stared at the offering, her nose wrinkling in confusion. "Why do they have nacho cheese on them, Dan? And why do they smell so strongly of beer?" Dan let out a weary sigh, the confession tumbling out before he could stop it. "After I saw you kissing the keyboard player earlier, I threw them in the trash in a fit of jealousy. But then I fished them out, because, damn it, I came here to tell you something important. And maybe it is too late, maybe the clock has already run out, but I am going to tell you anyway. I am ready, Louise." Louise stood motionless, her expression unreadable. "Oh, so you are ready now?" "Yeah, I thought about everything you said back in Lanford," Dan continued, his voice softening. "And the truth is, I want a full-on relationship, too. I am tired of standing on the sidelines of my own life." Louise crossed her arms, her gaze hardening. "So what? I am just supposed to forget about this last year when you have been stringing me along like a lost puppy? And now, suddenly, you are ready? So I am just supposed to jump on the back of your bike and we ride away into some suburban sunset?" "Well," Dan tried to inject a bit of his old humor, "I am a little saddle sore from riding for 3 hours straight. Maybe we could hit it fresh tomorrow morning?" "I am sorry, Dan," she said, her voice dropping to a whisper that cut deeper than any shout. "Oh, come on," Dan pleaded, stepping closer. "Come on, Louise, you have got to still feel something for me. A year of history does not just vanish because of a keyboard player." "It is too late, Dan. I moved on." Dan looked down at the soggy nachos in his hand, feeling the weight of his own hesitation. "Guess you will want these back then," he muttered. "Oh, you can keep them," Louise said, waving a hand over her shoulder. "Please do not make me touch them. I think I see a bandage floating in the cheese." Back in the familiar, slightly cluttered living room of the Connor house in Lanford, the television hummed with the strange glow of late-night cable. Darlene sat on the sofa, her eyes bleary from a lack of sleep that had lasted for 48 hours. Beside her, Ben was leaning forward, his eyes fixed on the screen with an intensity that bordered on the absurd. Okay, Darlene muttered, rubbing her temples. "I have not slept in a couple of days. Tell me I am not hallucinating right now. That is a grown man racing a grizzly bear on an obstacle course, right?" Yeah, Ben replied, not taking his eyes off the screen. "It is a show called Man vs. Bear. They do tug of war, they roll heavy barrels up steep hills, and they even climb trees." "Does not the bear win most of the time?" Darlene asked, squinting at the grainy footage. "Well, the bear wins every single time, Darlene. It is a bear," Ben explained as if stating the most obvious fact in the universe. "I do not think the human race has a chance unless they introduce a round of Sudoku or driving a stick-shift car. I think circus bears can actually drive cars," Darlene noted, her voice flat. "You can learn anything if your food supply depends on it. It is the basic principle of survival." The sound of footsteps on the stairs interrupted them. Becky appeared, looking weary in her oversized pajamas. "What are you guys doing? It is 1 a.m. Beverly Rose is teething, and she refuses to sleep," Ben said, finally looking away from the bear. "And Darlene was snoring so loud it was shaking the foundation of the house, so I came downstairs for my own safety." "I do not snore," Darlene snapped, though her voice lacked conviction. "Oh," Ben scoffed. "Well, then somebody was definitely trimming heavy trees with a chainsaw in the bedroom." "Thanks for the support," Darlene muttered. "Trust me, Darlene, you snore," Becky chimed in, leaning against the doorframe. "When we shared a room as kids, I used to have to put my old makeup sponges in your mouth just to get a few minutes of peace and quiet." "That is okay," Darlene countered with a tired smirk. I used to use your toothbrush to clean the scum off the turtle bowl. Becky winced. Oh, why did you not just wake me up if the baby was crying? I tried, Ben said. I nudged you. I shook you. I even pinched you. I eventually splashed a little bit of water on your face. Wow, Darlene said, blinking. That explains a very weird dream I was having. I was wrestling with a giant sea otter, and then he suddenly threw his martini in my face. Woman versus otter, Ben mused. That could be a hit show. We should call the network. Yes, Darlene agreed. And I know exactly where to get an otter. All I need is a temporary distraction and a very large towel. Okay, Ben said, standing up and stretching. I will put a couple of pillows under my head so I do not snore. Now come back to bed, Darlene. Just a few more minutes, Ben, she begged, pointing at the television. Because in the last round, they each have to give a stray cat a bath. This is exactly why we are not getting pregnant, Darlene, Ben joked as he headed toward the kitchen. Because your sperm is too stupid to find my egg. I am about to put the salmon down in front of them for the fish-eating contest. I think the man really has a chance here. Bear one. Meanwhile, back at the Springfield bar, Dan was leaning heavily against the counter, his third beer feeling like a heavy weight in his hand. The bartender, a woman with a look of permanent exhaustion, eyed him with practiced indifference. Last call, buddy. No, Dan protested, his speech slightly slurred. It is only 2 in the morning. Last call is not until 4. It is last call for you, the bartender stated firmly, sliding a glass of water toward him. Fine, Dan grumbled. I will take 3 beers and 3 more shots for the road. You get 1 beer and 1 shot, the bartender corrected. And maybe you should call your wife so she can pick you up before you fall off that stool. I am just staying at the hotel next door, Dan said, his voice dropping. My wife is dead. The bartender paused, the bottle of whiskey midair. You did not kill her, did you? No, Dan said, looking genuinely offended. I am sorry, the bartender sighed, pouring the single shot. We are right off the expressway. We have to ask everyone who looks like they are mourning. Dan turned as a man with long hair and a band shirt approached the bar. Can I get a beer, please? Hey, Dan shouted, pointing a finger. You are with the band, are you not? The keyboard guy? Yeah, the man replied, looking confused. What did you think of the show? I love Louise, Dan said, his eyes narrowing. She is the lead singer. But it seems nobody ever loves the keyboard player. Like somebody is loving the keyboard player right now, the man muttered, a smug smile playing on his lips. I saw Louise kissing you earlier, Dan said, his voice rising. And I have to be honest with you, that really bothered me. Oh, you are one of those guys, the keyboard player said, rolling his eyes. I know the type. It looks like she is singing directly to you, but she is just trying to remember the words to the bridge. It is not what you are thinking, old man. This is us, Dan insisted, gesturing vaguely between himself and the ghost of his relationship. We dated a little back in Lanford, and I did not have the guts to commit at the time. And then I gave her cheese flowers and really messed things up. Cheese flowers? The keyboard player asked, looking genuinely horrified. Is that something, like, that another guy could catch? Like a disease? No, nothing like that, Dan said, frustrated. Look, I just want her back. Do you love her? I do not know, Dan admitted. Drunk guy honesty here. We have been friends for a long 10 years, and this just happened, and it has got nothing to do with you personally. Okay, the keyboard player said, raising his hands in surrender. I get it. Backing off. Oh, do me a favor, will you? Dan asked, grabbing the man's arm. The next 10 times you see her, tell her that Dan is not afraid to say it. I love you, but her, not you. I love her, not you. It is you talking, but it is me saying it. You would do that for me, right? No, the man said, pulling away and taking his beer. Oh, come on. What is your name? Zach. Zach. I would do it for you, Zach. Watch. Marla. Dan shouted to a woman sitting at the far end of the bar. Zach loves you. Yeah, the woman replied without looking up from her drink. After midnight, everybody loves me. Good luck to you, buddy. Oh, thanks, Dan said, turning back to Zach. Oh, I feel like you and I have made a little connection here. It may be the beer talking, but I think I love you too. The next morning, the counter kitchen was a battlefield of supplements and vitamins. Harris walked in and stared at the array of bottles on the table. What are all the pills for? They are vitamins to increase my odds of getting pregnant, Darlene explained, popping a large capsule. So you are actually trying now? Harris asked, leaning against the counter. You know, the world has enough kids. The earth can barely sustain what we have got. What the hell, woman? Ben interjected, walking in with a cup of coffee. Darlene and I want to have a baby together, and it is going to be a really small one, so it is not going to use up a lot of resources. And we will recycle it when we are done. You are being really selfish, Harris said. Lay off, Harris, Darlene sighed. Just saying. Adopt one, do not drop one, Harris shrugged. Look, I am 43. I do not even know if I can have a baby, okay? Get off my back. Your old people sex is destroying the earth, Harris called out as she wandered away. We are not going to be here that long, so we do not care, Ben shouted after her. Darlene turned to her sister, who was looking at a calendar. Kate, you have to get dressed for the meeting. We are going to be late. We have to leave, like, right now. I am sorry, Becky said, looking weary. I went to bed way too late. Beverly Rose fell asleep in my arms. I did not want to move and wake her up. Well, you could have given her to Becky, Ben suggested. Oh, I did not mind, Darlene said. Becky needed a break. You go on ahead, Ben. I will meet you there. Hey, do not forget, Ben said. I am coming with you to your doctor appointment afterwards. You do not need to go to that, Darlene said quickly. I will fill you in later. Just do not be late for the meeting. We need this guy's advertising dollars. Well, hey, Ben said. It is an adult bookstore, so if you get there before I do, just talk about what a shame it is people do not read anymore. There is something wrong with the hot water in the house. Becky shouted from the laundry room. And I need to shower real bad because Beverly Rose threw up in my hair, and I tried running it, and no hot water came out. And if I do not get a shower and some sleep, I am going to eat the baby. Okay, Ben said, rushing over. Nobody is eating any babies. It is probably just the pilot light. I will check it. He knelt by the water heater and fumbled with the dial. Yeah, it is the pilot light. This will just take a second. Now, we just turn this, hold the button down, and it is out. All right, Ben said, standing up and wiping his hands. So, it is a little more complicated than I thought, but as soon as I get back from the meeting with Darlene, I will fix it. You said you could fix this, Becky cried. Were you just talking out of your mouth like all men do? I just want a shower. I just want my hair to smell like pretty apples again. Okay, Ben said. Maybe I can try and fix it right now, okay? Could just be a clogged burner. So, just going to reach in there. Wow. Well, that came out way too easy. In the living room, Jackie was waiting as Dan trudged through the front door, looking like he had been dragged behind his own motorcycle. Hey, rom-com, she teased. I heard you drove all the way to Springfield to tell Louise you could not live without her. Did you catch her at the airport before she flew to Paris to marry the wrong guy? Why are you screaming? Dan groaned, clutching his head. Oh, a little hungover from all the celebrating, are we? Jackie asked. Well, I guess some people cannot hold a case of beer like they used to. Actually, Dan said, sinking into his chair, I got drunk with Louise's new boyfriend. Oh, Dan, Jackie said, her tone shifting to mock sympathy. Let me tell you something from personal experience. 3-person relationships do not work. No 3-person relationships. No couples. No nothing. She moved on. Dan whispered. Oh, man, I am sorry, Dan, Jackie said, actually sounding sincere for a moment. I told her I was ready to commit, but she was tired of waiting, Dan said. I am never going to meet anyone like her again. Okay, look, you got your heart broken. That sucks, Jackie said. But if nothing else, you learn that you are ready to let somebody in your life now. Maybe it will not be somebody like her. Maybe it will be somebody a little more, your speed. Like a lady ranch hand or baggage handler. I am not looking for somebody to help me move a couch, Jackie, Dan said. Okay, I am just saying, now that you are open to all the possibilities, you are going to find somebody, Jackie insisted. Jackie, you have been open to all the possibilities for 40 years. How is that working out for you? Dan asked. We are not talking about me. I am out of my mind, Jackie Gatlin. I would not know the first thing about meeting someone. Interesting, Dan mused. As Lanford's former leading life coach, I would say the fact that you are grabbing a beer when we are talking about relationships is very significant. Oh, please, Jackie scoffed. It is hops and barley. They are grains. You put them in a bowl, you are a health nut. You put them in a bottle, you are running away from your feelings. Look, I know that it can be intimidating, Jackie said, becoming serious. But there is a lot of women waiting to meet somebody like you, Dan. And we are all looking for the same thing. Somebody who does not play games. Somebody who is emotionally available. And most especially, somebody who does not wear a wedding ring. Dan looked down at his hand. I do not know if I can do that. Dan, taking off the ring. It is not going to erase all the wonderful memories that you had with Roseanne, Jackie said softly. Your age and drinking history is going to do that anyway. Back at the house, Darlene was pacing the kitchen. Where is Ben? I do not know. I am watching Mark, Jackie said. Well, where is Mark? I have no idea. Could be with Ben. Can you believe that Ben missed a meeting that he knew was important because he had to fix the water heater? Darlene asked, her voice tight with anger. I am so fed up with him. He spends more time with Becky and her baby than he does getting our magazine set up. I know we have gone over this, Jackie said, and I think this is one of those times where I am just supposed to listen. Do you know where Ben is? In the basement, Jackie said. With Becky? Yeah. She blew up her life, so that is where she lives now. Darlene marched down to the basement. Ben was there, looking at the water heater. Hey, you are home, he said. You got my text, right? Yeah, I got it, Darlene said coldly. Well, I was waiting for you to text me back, Ben said. Well, I was a little busy trying to woo a porn merchant, Darlene snapped. Can I talk to you for a second? In private? Sure, Ben said. Hey, I am sorry I missed the meeting, Ben started. Not yet, Darlene interrupted. I will get to you in a minute. She turned to Becky. Do not be mad at Ben. I was falling apart and had throw up in my hair, and he really came to my rescue. Oh, yeah, I will bet he did, Darlene hissed. What is that supposed to mean? Becky asked. It means you are watching television with Ben in the middle of the night. Then suddenly Ben cannot make it to a meeting because you have to take a shower, and then I come downstairs, and you are brushing your hair like a mermaid in front of him. Darlene shouted. What are you talking about? Becky asked, stunned. You do not have a guy in your life, so you are trying to steal mine, Darlene accused. You are out of your mind, Becky said. Ben helped me out a little bit because I was having trouble with the baby, and I needed to shower. That is it. Is it? Darlene asked. Because Emilio is stuck in Mexico, and you do not have anybody to fix your hot water heater. Did you give Ben a little peek before you went in the shower? It is a good thing I got some sleep, Becky growled, because if I had not, I would knock your tiny body across the room. Whoa, what is going on? Ben asked, stepping between them. You want a baby? Darlene turned to him. Becky has got a baby. You will make a beautiful family. You two can populate the world with a bunch of giant Viking children. Everybody is a giant to you, you nasty little munchkin, Becky snapped. Darlene turned back to the water heater. Oh, I hope there is still hot water, because I have got puke in my hand. If I do not take a hot shower, I will die. Please let me in. No, Darlene shouted. Talk to me, Ben pleaded as Becky went upstairs. I want to understand why you think I want giant babies with Becky. I want tiny babies with you. Tell me what is going on, darling. I get why you are attracted to her, Darlene said, her voice trembling. You love the baby, you love Becky middle-aged womb, and you want to have a family. Yeah, I want to have a family with you, Ben said. Well, maybe I cannot, Darlene sobbed. Look, we have not even been trying that long, Ben comforted. You just have to be positive. Oh, fine. I will just change my entire personality, Darlene Chamchock. Oh, look at that. The sun will come out tomorrow, and bam, I am pregnant. Did something happen at the doctor? Ben asked, his voice becoming serious. I had an infection a while ago, and apparently it left a bunch of scarring on one of my fallopian tubes, Darlene admitted. So what does that mean? The doctor said that getting pregnant is going to be a long shot. She said maybe with in vitro, but we cannot afford that. And even if we could find a way to get all that money, she said there are no guarantees. Hey, even if we do not have a baby, we are going to be fine, Ben said, pulling her into an embrace. Yeah, for a while, Darlene said. And then in a year or two, you are still going to want a family. You are going to find somebody who can have a baby, and you are going to leave me. I am going to prove you wrong by being with you for the rest of your life, Ben promised. And so when you are old and on your deathbed, I am going to gently hold your face, and I am going to say, bet you feel like an idiot now. It is not just that, though, Darlene said. There is something else, and I am pretty sure it is your fault. I know. Why? Because I was not even sure that I wanted a baby, Darlene said. And then you started this, and now I want one, okay? I really want one. Oh, come here, Ben said. Look, the doctor said it is still possible, right? Okay, so? We are just going to have a lot more sex. And afterward, I will have to hang you upside down from the ceiling like a bat to increase our chances. You just want the change that will fall out of my pockets. Darlene laughed through her tears. I had assumed you would be naked at that point, but whatever, Ben joked. I feel bad, Darlene said later. I unloaded all my emotional baggage on Becky. How do you think I feel as her new husband? Dan asked, walking in from the living room. You can take that beer. If you are drunk, this is not your house. What the hell is wrong with you? You see me kissing a guy, and that is who you use to tell me you love me? Dan sat across from Louise, who had waited for him in the kitchen. I can see why you like him, Dan said. He is real easy to talk to. This is so high school, Louise scolded. You might as well pass me a note saying, do you like Dan? Check yes or no. The last time I did anything like this, I was in high school, Dan admitted. Well, you are a man now, and I just drove 212 miles. Tell me to my face. I love you, Dan said. Well, it is no good if I have to tell you to say it, Louise sighed. I do not know how to do this, Dan admitted. I am no good at any of this stuff. I am no good at expressing myself. This was so much easier with Zach. What happened to your ring? I took it off, Dan said, holding up his bare hand. That must have been hard, Louise said softly. It was time, Dan said. Well, you know, with that ring off, lots of women are going to be coming after you, Louise teased. Including you? Well, maybe. You had your chance. I would like to see what else is out there. Have you been to a high school reunion lately? Darlene was going to the refrigerator to get some juice. It does not mean I am trying to have sex with Ben, she said as Becky walked in. No, I went a little crazy and said some terrible things, Darlene continued, placing a plate of waffles in front of her sister. That is why I made you waffles. Oh, Becky said, but you really hurt my feelings. Can I at least get some whipped cream on this? I did not try to kill you, Darlene said. I just called you a name. You can get up and get it yourself. Hey, Dan said, looking at Darlene. Your doctor told you could not have a baby, and he was wrong. I mean, they make mistakes all the time, right? Of course, Becky agreed. All the time. Besides, having another baby is going to ruin your life, so it is definitely going to happen. You know what worked for me? Jackie asked, looking up from her plate. Drunk sex in a walk-in freezer. You guys might want to try that. And if that does not work, it is probably Ben, so go to Mexico and have sex with Emilio, Jackie added. Well, you heard her, Darlene said to Ben. If we are serious about the baby, you have to go have sex with Emilio. Hey, he is smoking hot, Becky joked. I am packing my bags right now. The family continued to laugh and argue over their waffles, a chaotic, messy, but enduring unit. They were, as they had always been, still standing. The end.